I own multiple editions of the Transformers, all 6 movies in Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, Steelbook, Best Buy edition, Walmart edition, Target editions. I own Prime 1 and Sideshow Statues, Optimus Prime ×2, Megatron ×2, Shockwave, Ratchet, Jazz, Bumblebee ×2, Ironhide, which that one's the best one, Galvatron, Lockdown with his little dog companions. Did I miss any? I don't know. But so does this movie disappoint? Or did it give me the thumbs up? Chase Miyake here with the Blue Futon reviewing Transformers Rise of the Beasts in 3D. I wanted to make sure I got you guys a 3D review because that is what I do. And what's this movie about? Pretty simple premise. We are in New York, 1994. We have the Autobots. We have the Decepticons, but not really the Decepticons, like the Terracons. And then the Beast Wars with the Gorilla, the Cheetah, the Bird, the Rhino. I won't lie, I'm not the biggest Beast War person. That's why I didn't really grow up with or watch those cartoons. So I'm more focused on the Optimus Prime and the Mirage, and I like those type of characters. So, did I like this film? I thought it was a pretty fun, awesome movie experience as a whole. Even though, when thinking about this movie, there's a lot of similarities between this one and Transformers number 2. And people are thinking, what the hell are you thinking about? But I will talk about that. I don't know if I'm going to go in a positive and negative with this movie. I'm just going to talk about this kind of in a showy, just off the script type of review. So 3D first, it is good. It really pops. There are good scenes when they're in Peru, in New York, or when the battle scenes are happening, where there's stuff happening in the background and foreground that you can tell the depth of it. It does have a good pop out on some scenes, especially when we have to do with the key and needing to like do his little fantastic stuff, as well as showing the blasters at you or guns at you. That yes, this shows it completely. It does pop out. However, if you're comparing this to Dark of the Moon, which that is the 3D one, the third one, where they're in Chicago, it does not beat that because that one actually used 3D cameras, and Michael Bay had people jump out of airplanes with 3D cameras on their chest. So yes, the 3D might be awesome and worth your time if you want to see it, but still, the best 3D Transformers movie is Dark of the Moon, the third one, just FYI. So going into this movie, I was a little bit nervous with new direction, just new writers. Everything is new about this, new characters. But that really didn't bother me. I think the writing did have a little bit of I did have issue with some of the writing in this movie, let's put it that way. But when we talk about the good story elements, I do think Anthony Ramos had a fun story element with what he was going through, what his brother was going through, and this girl who wants to be an archaeologist, kind of like an Indiana Jones, that she wants to be. So I did like that story plot as well as Anthony Ramos's. I do wish that Anthony Ramos's story plot did focus a little bit more on the army side. I did think I see a review that said this movie is the best one because it had no military and no Linkin Park. So this made the best Transformers movie. But if that makes it a good Transformers movie, sure. Even though this is going to lead to more military-esque, if you know what I mean, if you've seen the movie. The battle sequences, really fun, really unique, and really just fun. If you want to see Transformers battling each other, Optimus Prime, Mirage, Bumblebee, fight against these Terracons, you're in for a freaking blast. And some of the voices in for the Transformers, of course, you have Peter Collins, you have Davidson, which I was a little bit nervous for, but it was a little bit off-putting for the first 10 minutes, but you kind of got used to it. Michelle Yeoh, you have Ron Perlman, you have Peter Dinklage. He is the bad guy in this movie. All fantastic voice acting. So for a 2-hour movie, it's zoomed pretty quick. I think Bumblebee, the Haley Steinfeld one, is 3 minutes shorter. Sure, why not? I do think this CGI is better than that one. But when you look at this CGI compared to the Michael Bay one, this is where I still think Michael Bay shines. Those CGI effects still hold up a little bit better than some of these ones. And why do I think that is? Is because the mix of realism and CGI, what Michael Bay does. Rewatch the first one where the Transformer is going through the bus. That scene still works because the bus explosion was real, and then in post-production adding the Transformers. With this movie, there wasn't a lot of that. Yeah, there were some explosions here and there in the museum, but when it came to the morphism of CGI and realism, that really wasn't in this film. Like I said in the beginning, how you can kind of compare this to the second one. What do I mean by that? Well, you kind of have human Transformers in both movies, you kind of have a battle sequence that are kind of similar. Museum in this one, and the second one, the library. This one, you're going to Peru, going up pyramids. Second one, you're doing Egypt, going up pyramids. And there's other battle sequences style that you're like, this is very, very close to the second one, even though the second one's about 30, 35 minutes longer. And I'm a sucker for that one, even though Michael Bay says that one's a rush one. I still enjoy the longevity of that story of going to different parts of the world. Yes, there's some issues with it, but still, when comparing this movie and just thinking about the past ones, it's hard not to say, like, wait a minute, there are very specific similarities where you could literally be like, okay, there's that. And also the plane in this one. I was like, wait, is that going to be connected to the Smithsonian plane from the second one? So yes, there are very, very, unique, similar issues with that movie. All right. And also I said this in my after reaction, is the scene where Bumblebee, people are liking this song choice. To me, it didn't really fit as well as I wanted to be, because you have the Transformers or the score from the first 5 movies come into this. Then you would switch to this Bumblebee coming out of the plane, like "Don't Call It a Comeback" kind of song, and he was doing this stuff. But there was a weird transition, and it goes back to the score. To me, that was a little bit too janky for my liking. As a Transformers movie, I sure had a fun time with it. And even with the short reaction, if I'm watching this or Spider-Man, I'm watching this over Spider-Man. Why? Because I like more human interactions. Yeah, I'm fine with animated movies, but I don't really connect to a lot of animated movies. Like, the only animated movies I've really connected to were like some Pixar, some old Disney from like the 60s and before. I connect to those, as well as How to Train Your Dragon, the first one. So, there you have it for that one. But Transformers Rise of the Beast, if you like Transformers, you're going to like it. If you never really liked the Transformers movie, this is not going to fill you in. But I'm a sucker for Transformers movies. Bring it on. I could easily see myself watching this in theaters again. So Transformers Rise of the Beast will receive a 4 out of 5 of Futon, equals at 80%. And I'm very interested because I thought they're going to bring Section 7 into it, but they decided to link another Hasbro property at the very end, which I'm like, okay, I could dig it. So maybe we could actually go into his army background, which I think would be a kind of a plus. But we'll see the critics' news scores gave this one. So you have critics a 53% with 154 of them, not shocked. Audience score at 91%, still not shocked with over 1,000. Critic consensus. Thanks to some genuine human drama between the set pieces and palpable affection of its title characters, Transformers Rise of the Beast is one of the franchise's most enjoyable outings. Sure, why not? I find them all enjoyable. They all have their niches, they all have their issues, but they all have their badassery to them. They all freaking do. And like I said, some people love the MCU. This is my MCU. If I had to watch either like the MCU movies or the Transformers movies, I'm going to the Transformers movies, just who I am. 91, 80, 53. Chase out with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things, Booftopia. You Booftoners, thank you for watching a freaking fantastic day, week, month, or year. I don't care when you're watching this. I love every single one of you. And if you do not like Transformers, sorry, not sorry. I freaking love them. Love, 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 love them.